Hello and welcome back to Cinema Rules podcast, episode 4. We're getting there. We're
We're going to lose track as soon as it gets past 10. We're going to be like, is this 23? Podcast 23?
I can't remember.
Welcome back, Sean. Welcome back, humble cinema rulers.
There you go. It's actually been less than a week for us.
It has.
Because we've got plans over the weekend, so we thought we'd film this one early. And
it was a tiny bit thin on the ground for like movie news, but then, Sean, finally the trailer for Ridley Scott's Gladiator 2
was released. Right after we reviewed, literally the day after we looked at and reviewed and spoke about the images.
The images, yeah. And we just watched it again before the camera started rolling, just so it was fresh in our minds. Give me your thoughts, because you haven't even said. You just watched it and you were like, okay.
So my initial thought when watching it for the first time was, wow, it looks bad.
All right.
But since thinking about it and rewatching it,
I actually completely disagree.
But but since thinking about it and rewatching it, I just think it's a really bad trailer.
Yeah, I see that.
It's a really bad trailer.
I totally see that, because what is the job of a trailer? What is the job of a trailer?
To entice audiences.
To get people into the film, right? This is not a trailer designed for us.
It's not a trailer.
It's not even a trailer designed for fans of the original film.
No, it's not. It's for newbies to come in.
And that's why I've seen the complaints about the trailer already. One of the massive complaints is like there's a completely weird out there music choice.
Yeah, it's like a hip hop song.
Yeah,
when the original was known for its beautiful score.
And I can totally see why some people might have that fear, right?
Yeah.
You don't even get an introduction really to the characters, bar a little flashback at the start to the younger boy who Paul Mescal's playing now, grown up. And you don't really get a sense of story apart from the fact that he's maybe press-ganged into being a gladiator and wants revenge. But obviously the scale and the set pieces of it look amazing. The actual actors look amazing. It does have a bit of a gritty look to it, apart from the sheen of some of the Colosseum shots, which are obviously CGI.
Yeah, can we just go back to the trailer and what a trailer is supposed to do for now? I think, yes, you're right. The trailer is supposed to entice new people, I guess, but it is also, it should reflect the tone of the film and what you should expect from the film.
I completely disagree.
No, I think maybe not should.
Its only job is to get people in the cinema.
Maybe not should. However, you can tell a lot from the tone of the film from the trailer.
Well, you should be able to, but I've seen people recut trailers to make them look like dramas when they're comedies and stuff like that.
There are definitely films that have been mismarketed based on what the trailer, because the trailer in itself is a piece of art. It's a story in itself.
Yeah, and I do think trailers in pop culture have a really important place to play.
It's a really important role
to play, an important position. But
and I think this is a complete mismatch of what we're going to potentially.
But remember,
get.
It's the first trailer, isn't it? Yeah, where you come out the gates with your set pieces in the first trailer,
I would have
shock and awe, right? Yeah. That's what you want to do. Then you have a story trailer. Then you can probably have.
Well, that's the thing.
And in your story trailer, you'll have that kind of maybe slow it down with a somber tone, and you get a dialogue over the beginning of it.
I disagree. I think it should be a teaser first to show the tone of the film, and then a spectacle trailer showing to get audiences.
We don't have teaser trailers as much these days. Do you know what I hate as well? When you have that little tiny trailer for the trailer in front of the actual trailer you're watching. It's I don't. Who has the attention? Is that because people have such a bad attention span?
Yeah, it's the TikTok brains. Just like I need to be captivated within the first 2 seconds in order to retain my attention.
But I think Paul Mescal looks great. I think Joseph Quinn looks like scarily weird as the
Pesco
Emperor.
Patel as well.
Yeah, I don't think we actually saw what he was doing in this film. We saw his choreography and some of his fighting, but nothing about. Not really performance.
But I think it's more. I think from watching the trailer, I think it's his film just as much as the main character's film.
He seems like the antagonist, which I thought he wouldn't be. I thought it would be just Joseph Quinn. I thought he was actually a supporting protagonist.
But there are certain scenes in the trailer where it's just Pedro Pascal, and I feel like we're going to get more in depth with his side of the story as well. So it's going to be almost you choose whose side you're on, potentially. Now, I loved the Colosseum vibes in this. However, I've got two nitpicks.
Can I guess what they are?
Yeah.
Because one might be mine as well.
Yeah.
That you try and outdo like the tigers and the fighting of the first Colosseum in the first film. So you fill it with water.
Yeah,
that is actually allegedly historically happened for real.
Okay.
Oh, obviously not blooming sharks being in there and stuff, but they created
pits of water?
They allegedly filled it with water and had like little naval battle reenactments when people actually fighting and killing each other.
Okay,
I don't know how much it has actually
if it's
been
based
like
on
inflamed by you know,
if it's based on historical fact, then fair enough. I just was not aware of that. But then you have, I mean,
is it the rhino?
Did they ride rhinos back in there? That was a bit of.
I don't think you can ride a rhino.
No, so I'm a bit. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, because they did use a lot of different animals within the Colosseum, and I think rhinos probably were one of them. But to the extent of riding one,
maybe they did because they rode elephants. So
yeah, elephants, tigers, lions, all sorts of exotic animals as well.
They rode tigers.
They did, no, I don't know if they rode them, but riding a rhino is a bit. It just seemed to me that they were trying to outdo themselves in spectacle versus the first one.
The classic,
the first one,
that's what they call sequelitis.
Yeah, but the first one, I don't think everyone. Everyone, yes, was impressed by the spectacle of that one and the massive. Seeing the Colosseum in its full glory. But, I mean, however, it's the story and the score and the acting that solidified that movie.
Everybody's
been
trashing on Ridley Scott for years, even the original Gladiator for like its poor like historical accuracy. But I just hope we get that tone. There's something about, and I think there is a shot in the trailer. Maybe it's actually been released somewhere else. Of like the hand through the wheat field, that classic scene, and he's imagining going home, and you have that voice in the score in Hans Zimmer's score.
Yeah, as long as we get,
and I just want that tone. And when the ending of Gladiator is one of in the empty Colosseum is one of the best kind of moments of awe-inducing spectacle. Yeah, and calm.
As long as we get the score. Now We Are Free.
Yeah. I don't know
which is labelled that.
Ridley Scott's doing this score. Not Ridley Scott. Hans Zimmer. Might be someone else.
I mean, that score just gives me goosebumps every time.
I just think, my one thing with it, I think people these days, they do negatively, we've spoken about it before, but people would jump on the negative bandwagon at the slightest thing. Yeah. And you can't hate a film before it's already out. But no, people, you can't. I can see it going that way.
Yeah, no, I agree. I watched the trailer and I just thought this could have been any film. It didn't have to be Gladiator 2.
Yeah, but I think that's maybe down to the editing and the music choice, and that's
it. Yeah. Potentially. The story might surprise me.
If you change the score on this trailer, I think people would be completely.
I bet you any minute there'll be someone out there that potentially cuts that trailer down into a decent looking film with the original score, with the original vibe, and hopefully it changes people's perspective on it. But again, like I said, a trailer would be put past Ridley Scott for approval.
Well, I don't know. It depends how much approval. It depends how much power he has. It's the movie studio, isn't it? Really, that decide their marketing.
Yeah, I guess so.
There's been lots of poor trailers in the past for good films. There's been lots of great trailers for bad films.
Yeah, some trailers are better than the film. Yeah,
when the Matrix Resurrection, was it called Resurrections, came out? The fourth one.
Yeah. Revelations.
No, that was the third one.
Oh, Resurrections. Yeah, I never saw that.
I actually didn't see it, but everybody loved the trailer, and then the film got very poor.
It was like a parody of itself or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
but I'm interested to see another film, another trailer. However, this one has not gotten me excited.
It's still one of my top anticipations.
Really? I'm not excited about it, if I'm honest. If anything, it's reduced my excitement, because when the images came out, I was like, oh, okay, here we go. And when the trailer came out, I just thought generic. It looks generic.
Well, maybe, but we'll see. We'll see. Let us know what you guys think. What do you think of Gladiator 2? Are you more excited for it, less excited for it, or are you on the edge? Are you worried?
Yeah, we'll see. But in another news, Tom, sad news, Shelley Duvall has passed away.
This is only really like before we started this podcast, we saw this news as well. I think she was 75 years old.
75. And if any of you don't know who she is, she played, what's her character's name in The Shining? She played the wife in The Shining.
I think her character name is the wife. No, I don't know. I can't remember. Let me just look it up now quick. I mean, it's an absolute...
Wendy.
It's an absolute iconic performance, not just of horror, but in kind of the canon of cinema, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, she's very famous for it.
And there's been a real kind of mystique over the years, or kind of stories over the years that are built up around that performance and how she crafted it and how it was kind of influenced by Stanley Kubrick and things like that as well.
Not influenced, but forced by Stanley Kubrick.
But then,
it was almost bullied her.
Yeah, but then I don't know to what extent that's been kind of debunked recently or over the years.
I don't know whether she's actually said it herself that he tortured her. And to the point where he ignored her on set and was rude to her. I
don't know how true that is in terms of like whether or not that's...
She said the filming of that was traumatizing.
Oh, did she? I mean, I know that allegedly he did like 100 takes or something ridiculous like that.
Yeah. Of the stair scene, which is the greatest scene, one of my favourite scenes of all time.
Yeah, it is. But when Jack Nicholson's following her, when he's axing down the door and you see her reaction when she's got that knife in her hand, it's just pure terror and horror, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, it's no easy feat to capture that emotion, is it? No. But I mean, she's not just...
Have you seen her in anything else? Because I've seen her in one other thing, and it came out the same year as The Shining. It was Popeye. Have you ever seen Popeye?
No, I haven't. No.
I remember, I only just searched it now just to see what else she was in, and I just clicked on this film. It's got like
an actual live action version of
Popeye. Yeah, Robin Williams.
Plays
Popeye,
in 1980.
Yeah. And I remember watching it as a kid, and I was like, oh yeah, she's in that. I loved that movie.
I can also imagine Robin Williams being great at that because he was good at impressions.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But I mean, she's been in Annie Hall, Three Women. Most recently, I think she was in something called The Forest Hills. Yeah,
last year, by the way, and it's got really good ratings as a horror movie. So I really want to watch that.
Yeah, I mean, you don't know the background of what happened, but maybe it was sudden then. Is
that her?
That's her in that.
Yeah,
IMDb
she looks
top page of The Forest Hills.
Really old. It makes me. It hurts to see someone that, in your mind's eye, you've captured them in that young state, and then you see them old all of a sudden.
But The Shining came out 44 years ago.
It's crazy.
The Shining came out 44 years ago, and Jack Nicholson himself, I think, is 85, 86 years old, even crazy. 87, right? So these films, when they cement themselves in your mind in kind of pop culture, and you've seen them loads, you just imagine them like that, don't you? But
yeah, it's like watching Friends. I used to watch Friends every single day when I was growing up, and then even now you see them and they're almost, what's the word for it? They're encapsulated into their young bodies in your mind. You don't see them aging; they're always there. And then when you see them old, all of a sudden, it's like, holy shit! Time has flown, but it hasn't.
Yeah, but
it's a weird experience when you see that.
But I got a real respect for people that just age gracefully and continue trying to work. I mean, it's weird acting, isn't it? It's not like another profession where people retire. A lot of people just never retire when they're actors.
Yeah.
Or they keep doing films or roles they enjoy.
Yeah. It's because it's not really a job, is it? It's not really a hard
it's
job.
Not really a job.
It's not really stressful, is it?
Wow.
It's not your 9 to 5, is it, Tom?
You got to be skilled. I mean, the majority of actors, they are they are working actors, aren't they? They're jobbing actors. They do it for kind of
obviously
a living wage. It's
extremely hard to do for a living, and they are talented. It's not a question of not being talented at all.
So you've seen the Shining TV show, haven't you?
I've seen part 1 and part 2. I didn't see the end.
Oh, well, it can't have been that good then. It can't have been as good as the film.
It was brought out in the 90s. So it was like 10 years after the Kubrick film. But, TV film back in the 90s was like atrocious.
Yeah.
So it was that type of vibe, like in terms of acting. The main guy who played Jack Torrance was actually okay. But the script, because it was literally, because I read the book before I watched the TV show. And the TV show is literally, it's in 3 parts and they're each an hour and a half each.
And it is the book,
beat for beat, Tom. They do not skip a page.
Yeah, but I think
that's to its detriment because of the pacing.
It was in response to Stephen King not liking the actual Stanley Kubrick film, wasn't it? But that's why you can't adapt word for word properly like that, can you?
Not to an hour and a half to 2 hour film. No, you can't.
If you did that with The Lord of the Rings, for example, you'd get like a 20-hour miniseries or something like that.
Yeah, and I think there's a massive debate with The Shining as to, there's some people that absolutely love the book, so they absolutely hate on Kubrick's film because it's not like the books. It's like, I watched the film first and then I read the book. And I can understand where they're coming from. But you can appreciate 2 forms of art.
You can.
Separately from one another.
You can, but which one do you like better, the book or the Stanley Kubrick film?
Well, for me, I like the medium of film more than I'm more passionate about the medium of film than I am for the media of, books, the written word, whatever you call it. So I think it's actually a really difficult question, because I think if they could remake the book nowadays, kind of like how they did with It, part 1 and chapter 1 and chapter 2, I think that will be an incredibly fun psychological thriller / horror reinvented. Because there's so much in the book that doesn't happen in Kubrick's film. So much.
Really?
And some includes like hedge animals like coming to life and attacking.
Hedge animals?
Yeah, like the hedges of like animals like lions and rabbits and stuff. They come to life in the book and like scratch people and shit like that.
What is going on in Stephen King's head?
But I think that would be brilliant for a remake. So I think, and so much time has passed in order for that conversation to be brought back up and that to be, I would love to see it. I'd love to see another version of it. But in terms of Kubrick's movie, I think it works well as a suspenseful, psychological thriller, I guess. Like a thought experiment. I don't know. But I think it mainly hinges on Jack Nicholson's performance. It's brilliant. I think a lot of people complain about Jack Nicholson's performance and relates it again back to the book, saying that his descent is not smooth in the film.
Have you seen that kind of? I don't know whether it's a theory, or whether or not it was intentional or not. But there's this snippets of the film where Jack Nicholson looks into the camera. Like directly into the camera.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
Have you not seen that?
No.
So there are lots of moments in The Shining where he looks directly into the camera, and it looks like an accident, but then he keeps doing it and keeps doing it and keeps doing it throughout the film.
Oh,
I'll have to show you. Do you want to see it now? Shall I see if I can find it? I'll show you after.
Show me after.
That's
interesting.
We'll check it out.
Because that would be similar to like Fight Club.
Kind of madness or descent into madness kind of thing.
Yeah, that would be similar to Fight Club in this. Have you seen Fight Club?
No. But I know what happens.
You know what it's
classic,
about.
Twist.
So, spoiler alert. Obviously, he's got 2 personalities, and Brad Pitt is the personality, but it's seen as he's talking to a physical person. But before Brad Pitt comes into the movie as a physical being, there are frames before that where he appears in the background for a split second, like a 2D image of him.
So it's almost
standing like right next to him. So it's like flashes of his personality coming in more and more
it's almost like subliminal, subconscious kind of thing.
100%. Yeah. And it's interesting because who was the director of Fight Club? What's his name?
It's damn it, not Fincher, is it?
Yeah, I think so.
I think it's David Fincher, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, David Fincher.
He did 7
and
as well.
he's very particular in the way he moves the camera and the way he directs his actors, and obviously in his editing.
That takes us on to our new segment. What's in the box?
What's in the box?
No, right.
Dick in the box.
But rest in peace, Shelley Duvall, man.
Yeah, what a legend.
Great.
What a legend.
That is the iconic performance she'll go down for as well, isn't it? Yeah. Speaking of book adaptations, Sean, did you watch episode, was it 4?
Of House
of the Dragon?
Yes.
Jeez.
My God. My God. So much happened. Where do we start? Can I start off with a negative?
Oh, go on. Too much happened.
No, not too much happened, but...
Is it Aemond, the guy with one eye?
No, it's not even about the story.
He angers me as well.
It's not about the story. It's, I don't know. I thought the CGI on the dragons was incredible.
Yeah.
But
and
some
the actual flight scenes were good.
But some background, like landscaping, I could just tell it was like very shoddy CGI.
How far has TV come, Sean?
No, I appreciate that.
Far?
I appreciate
5 years ago.
I appreciate
even
that.
when Game of Thrones was on.
I think Game of Thrones...
To see something of that spectacle.
But I think Game of Thrones, the later seasons, did those landscaping and those castle shots far more realistically than House of Dragon have done it so far.
Yeah, perhaps, but I think it was probably...
It's very nitpick, by the way. Very nitpick.
It's probably a
negative,
if you're thinking of like King's Landing and stuff, if you see them, episode 1 of series 1 of House of the Dragon, if you see the shot where she's like flying over King's Landing, it's absolutely insane. And I think it's probably because they've modelled that setting far more because it's more common in the show.
I guess so.
This one we probably don't even get back to, so it was less of an important thing to perfect it in that sense. But
where do we start with this episode?
I think we have to start at the end. Spoiler alert.
Do we?
I think we do.
But what happened at the beginning? I can't remember.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? You've got Rhaenyra's missing from King's Landing, and you've got I think Daemon waking up from this kind of fever dream again.
He keeps having these dreams.
And there's the mysterious,
which are eerie, by the way.
Mysterious woman,
witch.
Yeah, she's called Alice Rivers, and we don't know. They call her a witch, don't they? But it's something to do with those weirwood trees that were in.
But is she real?
Seasons of Game of Thrones. Yeah.
Is she?
Yeah.
Because when he took a sip of that drink, he was just there at the table.
It's quite weird, isn't it? He's trying to get support for Rhaenyra. But he's running into lots of stumbling blocks, isn't he? So he's kind of stuck there. And I don't like those sorts of character arcs where for half a season they're off on almost like a side quest stuck in another place. It's a bit annoying, isn't it? Because he's such a great character. But meanwhile, you've got like Alicent trying to control Aegon, the king, and he feels like he's not listened to. Yeah, but she's a terrible mother.
That's interesting, and because Alicent had that conversation, and it was quite a brutal conversation, saying you know nothing, you haven't got wisdom. Just because you wear the crown doesn't mean you have wisdom. Yeah. Listen to your peers, which is good advice, by the way. Brilliant advice. Maybe the delivery was a bit too harsh, and because then he says, "Well, what do I do?" And she goes, "You basically shut the fuck up." And that.
But then that's what spurs him on to. He wants to do something. He wants to go out there.
He wants to be known to be at least
king,
brave and a hero. And I love his character, by the way. I really feel.
I actually thought he didn't have hardly anything to do, and I didn't rate him that much in the first season. But he's really performed well, I think, in this one.
He's a very complex character.
Yeah,
You
almost pity him, don't you?
Yeah.
Do you know why? There was some great parallels between Rhaenyra and Alicent, right? The one was in the previous episode when Alicent was comforting Aegon because Rhaenyra was comforting her son. They call him Jace, but he's called Jacaerys, isn't he? Because the younger brother died, and he was like crying to her, and she was hugging him. But when Alicent walked into the room and saw Aegon crying over his son, she walked out of the room. Yeah, and then the other one was interesting. The other one was Rhaenyra in season 1 took that potion, the abortion drink, to get rid of after she'd been with Kristen
Cole. And didn't
Cole.
Alison have an issue with that?
Alison had a massive thing with her.
Yeah.
And now she's done not just exactly the same thing, but with exactly the same person as well. So it's like hypocrisy, isn't it? So I think
that's interesting. I didn't think about that. Her
character actually subtly is way worse than people. I know people think she's a terrible character.
Apparently in the books, she's not as bad. They've actually made her out to be even worse because they want this parallel battle between good versus evil, essentially.
Yeah.
So they've made her worse, but I've seen complaints about that. And the fact that Alison isn't she's a bit more complex.
Like I said, the book's from two opposing accounts, isn't it? So some of them are.
Is it up for interpretation? So you can't really blame or complain about the show because they're doing their own thing. And
we also had intriguing things where you're starting to get secondary characters come in. Mm-hmm. Like they're called Adam and Alan, the two black shipyard workers.
Yeah,
that it did get subtly revealed. About their background. Did you spot what it was?
Was it that he might be the bastard child of the king? Well, not the king, but the Lord.
Corlys Valerion. Yeah, the what do they call him? The Lord of the Tides. The Lord of the Tides. Yeah. So that's
he was the one, and it seems like he knows it as well.
Yeah, and
well, they both know it.
I don't know if they do or not, but it was brutal that Rhaenys found out that, and then just like went and got absolutely crushed. Yeah. What did you think of Aemond in this one?
So he basically went and did not give two flying fucks about killing his brother.
Yeah, well, he looked up and saw the other dragon and he was really annoyed, wasn't he?
Yeah.
It kind of ruined his plan.
Yeah.
But he didn't go up straight away.
He waited to see if Aegon would fall.
Yeah.
To her.
But then Aegon was right there and he just let it rip with the blast of fire, didn't he?
And then, not only that, after Sir Kristen Cole trudged through the forest.
Got knocked out like a punk.
Yeah, it was walking through the forest towards Aegon. He saw Aemond with his sword.
Yeah. Now, I won't even say a thing, right? I won't even hint.
Okay.
But it was pretty open-ended, or it was.
Well, I couldn't really see.
There weren't answers in the end of the episode.
Yeah,
so what do you think?
He fell to his knees, Kristen Cole. I don't think he's dead. Aegon's dead because I think I saw him like struggling in some sort of way. I think he might just be like a broken back and he's crippled. I think that would be very interesting because he would have so much anger,
and it would be even worse.
And he would have no way in expressing that anger because he's crippled. And I think his brother, Aemon, would have a field day with that because now he can be an active participant, and Aegon, who nobody listens to anyway, is falling even further.
It's quite a cool character because normally all the kings in Game of Thrones have been authoritative or powerful, apart from that Joffrey's brother one. But but he can't do anything. Nobody cares about him. He's the most powerful person.
And the one thing that he thought he could do, which was act, failed, and now he's back to not being listened to. Can't even move.
I did
potentially.
Yeah,
I don't know.
To take it to the end then with that. Well, just before the end with that actual battle, and how she sacrificed herself. She could have escaped
twice.
Yeah,
she was thinking about doing it twice.
But I think she had that speech to Rhaenyra in the previous episode, didn't she? About how nobody remembers the first punch in the fight or something like that. Nobody will know what started the war. Yeah, so I think she knew eventually where it would end anyway. But I can't wait for everyone else to see if hopefully we see the others' reactions to her death.
To her death, yeah. I thought it was good though, her death. I think she couldn't really add much more to the story.
Do you know my favourite bit of the episode actually?
What?
When the two dragons were fighting, there was a lord on the battlements, and you just saw like the wing of Vhagar, the massive dragon, slowly coming over, like it's some kind of shark or something.
Oh my god!
That was nuts.
I liked it when Rhaegar and the other dragon, I can't remember the name, but landed on the ground, and it's just like the wings flying and everyone's screaming and running.
Oh, people were getting crushed.
Yeah.
I also love it because
insane.
It's not even close to some of the stuff that happens.
What
later on in the book,
hasn't even gotten going yet.
Well, I'd say this is like the start of where it starts kicking off, but so much more happens. Like,
well, but
it'll probably be 5 seasons, like I said.
Well, when this episode started, I was thinking they need a battle. They need a battle because it's not like I wasn't losing interest, but I remember Game of Thrones had epic battles.
Game of Thrones season 1 didn't have a single battle.
No, but neither did. Well, I guess House of the Dragon season 1. It kind of in the
Stepstones.
The Stepstones, but it wasn't like a spectacle. It was like basically just Daemon just running through a load of dead bodies. But I thought they needed something. Yes, it's another dragon battle. And we've had that already. And by the way, Rhaegar
the
got
first
her
one wasn't even a battle, was it?
Rhaegar got her exactly the way that he got the other guy. Just came out of nowhere and bit the neck of the dragon. So I was a bit like,
oh, what? The Vhagar, the big dragon?
Yeah, Vhagar.
Yeah, but that's what it does because it's a massive blooming dragon.
How does it disappear and just nobody knows? It's the biggest dragon living, and it just disappears and nobody knows where it is. Like, come on.
Oh man, I can't wait. There's one, I can't say what it is, but there's one thing I cannot wait to see on the screen, man.
Well, don't say. But
basically what happens is
I do want to see a foot battle though. I know there's loads of dragons and it's easy to use dragons in this world, in this scenario, but I want to see like a Battle of the Bastards episode, man.
That was iconic, wasn't it?
It was.
I think there'll be some.
Yeah. But yeah, I did enjoy it, and I thought the last episode before this was a little bit lackluster.
There's always going to be quiet after the storm episodes, though, isn't there?
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll roll on the next episode, man. Yeah. I can't wait.
Yeah, definitely.
Right, moving on, Sean. We have what was our next?
Well, I wanted to talk to you about an animated film called Transformers 1. Now, I was surprised to see the trailer in the theater. I had no idea it was coming out, but then there's been a lot of praise on the reviews of it because it's got Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah, but
is it Chris Pratt?
Chris Hemsworth.
Chris Hemsworth, sorry. And it's actually the origin between the relationship between Optimus Prime and is it Megatron?
Megatron and Bumblebee's in it as well.
I mean, it's the relationship between Optimus Prime and Megatron, who were enemies, obviously, but are best friends in this one. So I find that intriguing to see how that.
I do, and
I like the animated style.
I mean, I liked Transformers when I was a kid, but the relentless Michael Bay films have just put me off massively, man. I mean, how many are there? There's definitely, I think there's 8.
Yeah, but I like the first 3.
Yeah.
I watched the Mark Wahlberg one. I don't know, but there's a huge. Everyone still there's so many people. There's still such a huge fan base for.
Yeah, but it's just it's like the same as Fast and Furious, isn't it?
I think it's a little bit better than Fast and Furious. I think.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because Transformers, you know what you're gonna get. It's aimed towards kids. Come on, let's so it is what you get. You go into it and you're gonna get what you're gonna get. You know, the beasts and the dinosaur extinction. You go in there and you know what you're gonna get, and it's not like it's bad cinema because you know it's an IP that
one thing
is
that
aimed towards kids.
One thing that I mean, what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on this? I think we've mentioned voice actors before on the podcast, but do you think that it's a bad thing to get top actors like Chris Hemsworth, Scarlett Johansson to just play the voices of these people because they're just names to lure people in, aren't they? It's like Chris Pratt playing Mario.
Apparently he did well with that though.
Yeah, but it's like, do you not think voice actors are kind of getting sidelined a bit? I mean, actors are actors, aren't they? But do you not think that voice actors do something a little bit different?
Well, I don't know.
They bring a different gravitas to it.
I don't know because
skill.
Because I think I think so. I think Chris Pratt was in the Lego Movie before he was really big.
Yeah,
it was around the same like a couple of years where he started to get big. Scarlett Johansson was in Her as kind of a voice actor. Chris Hemsworth, I don't think I've seen him do much voice acting. I don't think it's a bad thing at all. I think it's a different style. I mean, you've got Tom Hanks doing Toy Story.
Yeah, and by the way, Toy Story 5's coming out.
But Tom Hanks was still a huge actor, and Toy Story, you know, Woody's voice is fucking iconic because it's Tom Hanks. Do you know what I mean? They're just they lure people in not just because of their name, but because of the recognizable voice and the fact that they can act, so they can voice act. Voice acting is very similar to, if you can voice act, you can act.
Yeah, I see that. Maybe it'll be a surprise. Maybe it'll be like Across the Spider-Verse or something where it gets.
Yeah, I love the Across the Spider-Verse. I think that and the second one are probably one of my favorite, probably my favorite Spider-Man movies.
What was the second one called?
There was Across the Spider-Verse.
Into the Spider-Verse is the first one. I
think.
And
then Across the Spider-Verse.
And there's Beyond the Spider-Verse
coming out. Yeah,
2 parts.
Have you ever seen those two?
I've seen the first one.
Oh, okay.
I loved it. Yeah, I thought it was great.
I think it was probably the best Spider-Man film.
Well, it captures the kind of character from the comic better than it's been.
And you haven't seen the second one?
I haven't. No,
mate. The second one,
I never got.
Obviously,
it
brings in all different types of Spider-Men from across the universe. It's crazy, man.
Yeah,
it is crazy.
I do want to see it
because I think there's cameos of like the live action Spider-Man in there as well.
Well, I mean, animation. Do you know what it is? The reason why I think animation's had a bit of a revival is because the people that used to watch certain shows and films when they were kids, they're bringing those back for nostalgic reasons, aren't they? Like X-Men 97, the series.
Was it 96? Is it 96?
97, I think.
Oh, is it 97?
But or 95 even. I don't know, but that's been brought back because of nostalgic reasons, and it's got really high ratings, really high reviews. Yep. You had the Invincible, that was a good series, animated series as well.
Still a good series. It's on season 2. The season 2 ending of that was not as impressive as the first season. The first season was almost a masterpiece in my mind because it was absolutely insane. J.K. Simmons is such a great voice actor, by the way.
What does he play? Omni-Man,
yeah. And then season 2 ended lesser so, but it's still so like it's such a character-driven story now. It's not just about superheroes. Here's a thing. There's a lot of talk about superhero fatigue, but I was listening to the actor that plays Homelander, and he put it quite well. He said, "There isn't there's not superhero fatigue. It's just bad writing and bad movies coming out on superheroes. You need to explore different regions and realms of this topic. It's like you could have loads of gangster movies and there'd be gangster movie fatigue. Well, no, just make a good gangster movie.
It's yeah. The analogy is this, Sean. Everyone loves ice cream, but they don't want to eat vanilla ice cream every day.
No, just because there's just because there's a lot of vanilla ice cream in front of you, but there's a lack of mint, doesn't mean the mint is. I don't know what I'm trying to say.
I mean, I think I'm intrigued by Transformers 1. I think the best thing about animation is you can do anything. Like you can go to these distant planets and worlds that would be too expensive to film in a live action version. But
I love the fact that comic books are getting their animated adaptations. I like The Walking Dead, but you know what? I'd love to see a Walking Dead animated adaptation
and make it more faithful to the actual comic and do it in the same art style as well. That would be
insane, like black and white, and then all the blood is like red.
Yeah,
it would be insane. I'd watch it even if it's the same story plot. I'd watch it simply because it's like a faithful adaptation of the comic.
I remember borrowing the Walking Dead comic off you when we were in school when it first came out.
Yeah,
not the comic, but when the show first came out. And I remember then I was like, this is brutal. This is like
Let me get
insane.
Yeah, carry on.
Yeah, I mean, I think what are they on in terms of season wise of The Walking Dead now? Like they've got They finished The Walking Dead, but now Walking Dead Daryl Dixon's out. They've got various spin-offs. I think Dead City. They had Fear the Walking Dead. They had another one with kids. So they're oh man, it's that was one of the things that I think we had a few years ago. Zombie fatigue as well, didn't we? But
yeah, big zombie fatigue. But there were films that came out like Army of the Dead by Zack Snyder. That kind of revitalized it and proved that there's not a zombie fatigue. It's just that if you make a quirky and cool film that involves zombies, then it still works. Yeah, I've just got the first omnibus of The Walking Dead here, which is like the first like 35 volumes or something, or issues.
How many volumes are there in total?
Oh, there's hundreds. There's like over 300, I think, maybe? Or is that issues? I'm not sure.
There's like 10 of them.
No, I think there's 3. There's 3 of these.
Okay.
3 or 4. But there's another comic book that I would love to see an adaptation, animated or live action. And I think Amazon were looking into this. I saw news about it years ago.
Go on.
And it's called East of West: The Apocalypse.
Oh.
And if you're not familiar with this comic book, it's basically like the is it the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse are brought to life, and they're kids.
Okay.
And they're looking to hunt down Death.
Okay.
And Death is looking for his child, who has been like captured, and but it's a very futuristic setting, like certain nations like India, like the most technologically advanced humans. It is an insane. And China, they're just so it's so epic. Oh
man, I really want to read that.
I'll give it to you, and you can read it. But
they do. Didn't they do one? What was that one called? Was it called Preacher? That was based on a comic.
Yeah, Preacher was based on.
And then was they called Why the Last Man as well? I don't know, but there's loads of comics, and I think that is an not untapped medium, because people have been doing Marvel and DC for years, but the peripheral of that, like the other popular non-brand kind of series, are so original. Some of them, the stories and storylines are so original.
Like you said in the last episode, there's so many book adaptations and original book ideas that you can do and explore, but the industry, because they're not proven IPs, would have to take a risk on those type of epic stories. But I think fuck the risk, do it.
Oh man, let us know, guys, what you would like them to adapt into a film if you could choose a specific comic or book that has never been touched.
Yeah.
That's a great idea.
Should we go on to fan mail?
Yeah, let's do some fan mail questions. I love a bit of fan mail.
I've got a question for you here, Tom.
Go on. Hit me, Sean.
This is by Zion McRae, 7839.
Mr. McRae.
He says, or asks, in a book called The Story Solution by Eric Edson, 9 attributes are listed for a character to be likable.
Okay.
In order for a character to be likable, they only need 5 of these 9 attributes. These attributes are courage, unfair injury, skill, funny, just plain nice, in danger, loved by friends and family, hardworking, and obsessed.
So
are there any characters you like who don't have at least 5 of these attributes, and vice versa?
Okay. So any I do like that have them, and any I don't like that have them. Right. So they have to, in order to be likable, they have to have these qualities.
Now this we have to define this though.
Likable, does likable mean you enjoy watching them, or you think they're a good character?
Either a good character or a good person.
No, I think
a good character, right?
A good character, a likable character.
That list can go out the window, because the good character is the Joker, and he has none of these.
He has unfair injury.
Does he?
Yeah, because he falls into that acid vat, doesn't he? And gets these scars.
Which Joker are we talking about?
Well, all of them have a different backstory where they have like hideous scars or deformity or something.
Yeah, but I bet you any money Heath Ledger's just did those scars himself.
Yeah. Skill. He has skill. He's funny. He's obsessed.
I don't think he's funny.
He's the Joker.
Yeah, but in his own twisted way. He's not funny.
He's probably loved by his friends and family. Well, I was thinking
I wouldn't say he's... I would say he's hardworking, to be fair.
What about Walter White in Breaking Bad?
Okay, he has courage. 100% in the early seasons when he's throwing that crystal on the floor to get that money back.
Is that courage?
That's courage.
Or is that
stupidity?
Does he act out of courage there, or does he act out of anger, or does he act out of panic or fear rather than courage?
And if you're acting out of any of those in a situation that doesn't favor yourself, that is still courage. Whatever emotion you mask it with, that's still courage.
Does he have unfair injury?
No.
Oh wait, he has his.
Oh yeah,
cancer,
of course, yeah.
Does he have skill?
He's a scientist.
Yeah. Is he funny? No.
No.
Is he just plain nice?
No.
Is he in danger?
Yes,
that's
all the time.
4. Is he loved by his friends and family?
Yeah, but not at the end.
Really. Is he,
so that's a.
Is he hardworking? Is he obsessed?
I don't think he's hardworking. Because I think
it's the easy way out. Isn't it?
It's easy.
But he is obsessed, so that would be the 5th one. Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting.
What about...
I was thinking of a film we watched recently, Bone Tomahawk, and I was thinking about Matthew Fox's character, Brooder.
Yeah, but he's not does it have to be the protagonist?
No, it doesn't have to be the protagonist. It's just any character. So, does he have courage? Yes, he does, because he's about to... He tells them he's gonna distract them. Does
he have unfair injury? He gets his arm blown off.
But at the start, let's say at the start, does he? Let's think about the character at the start.
Do you like him at the start, or do you like? I
think he's a cool
end?
character. I think he's.
Maybe. I think you like him until the end when he gets to that change.
He has skill.
He's funny.
Is he?
Yeah, because he says things, doesn't he? That.
Yeah, true.
Well, it's different people have different senses.
He's not playing nice. He's in danger. He's loved by maybe not loved by his friends and family. Hardworking, and he is obsessed. Yeah, I mean, it is true. You need every character that I normally like has all of these things.
Yeah, it's the classic character archetypes, isn't it? In almost every story, you have certain character archetypes that live up to the kind of tropes, right? It's like. All there's only a finite amount of plots as well.
But if you want to write a great character, you look at this list and you write a great character. Unless, which is we failed to do, the audience can comment down below a character that they really like that do not have any of these 5 of these 9 attributes. So comment down below any character that you think doesn't fit this mold but is still likable. Because there has to be one, surely.
I think there probably is. Yeah, someone will come up with some clever response to it, won't they? In terms of what they can put in there. Yeah. What other questions you got, Sean?
I don't.
Is a good one from Twitter.
Go on then.
If you could own one prop from a film, or TV show,
that was going to be my question. Actually,
what would they be and why? That one's from Christian XVX on old X.
Mine would have to be something to do with a horror film. So it would have to be, I think it would have to be The Book of the Dead from the original 1981, The Evil Dead.
That is cool. That is a cool prop to have. I can imagine it on the wall. Yeah. It's a piece of film history.
Yeah. Either that or like Nightmare on Elm Street, Freddy Krueger,
what are they actually called? Hedge. I don't know. It's like a hedge. Is it like for trimming hedges, but manually?
No, it's not a real thing. He creates it.
Oh wait, I've seen that as a joke from somewhere where someone's. I think it's a Simpsons joke or something stupid.
What would yours be?
Probably the Indiana Jones's fedora hat. I think that's an iconic one.
Yeah, that would be a good one.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't suit it, so what's the point?
No, I wouldn't wear it, Sean. That's be sacrilege, man. Or the whip, the bull whip. I could use that.
I'm pretty sure you've got that already. I think you got that already in your bedroom.
Yeah, I do.
On your wall.
Confirmed.
Above the headboard.
I mean, there's so many out there, isn't there? Maybe one of those cool jackets they wear on The Matrix. The long black
trench
ones.
coats. It would be like like, you know, do you remember watching A Christmas Story? You know, the leg lamp?
yeah.
I'd have that.
Something like
Something
that.
ugly.
One of the velociraptors from Jurassic Park.
The velociraptor like toe.
Do you know the
fossil toe.
The mosquito in amber.
Oh, that would be a great
That'd
one.
be a good one, wouldn't it?
Like the walking stick. That would be great.
Yeah,
that has it
John
on.
Hammond's walking stick.
That'd be a great one. Or like the toe fossil from the velociraptor that Sam Neill has. There are so many.
Maybe one of Sean Connery's. Oh yeah, Sean Connery's DB5 from Goldfinger.
Aston Martin.
Yeah,
definitely.
Absolutely amazing.
Yeah, that would be.
That counts as a prop.
It does. It does. I've got another question, and we can go nuts with this one.
Go on.
If you could have any two films / TV shows cross over.
Oh my god!
And they put an example. So Lord of the Rings meets Die Hard or something. What would
that
be?
be way too out there? That'd be way
hilarious.
too out there. You go first.
Oh, I don't know. I think it would be fun to throw non-horror characters into a horror film. I think it would be fun to see how they would react.
So Scream and the cast of Malcolm in the Middle. To see Bryan Cranston's reaction to Ghostface.
That would be hilarious.
Turn out he was Ghostface in
that would be
episode.
Hilarious.
I want to see an animated version of that now. Just so someone make it. They were talking about that because they were going to cross over 21 Jump Street and do a third film with Men in Black.
Yeah.
And I was just like, come on, man. That'd be outrageous. Weird. But there is one coming out, isn't there? There's a weird crossover. There's actually a Transformers and G.I. Joe crossover.
Yeah, but that's not out there. They do that in the animated series.
No, they're actually doing the film. It's been announced.
But they do that in the so it's
so
not
it's
out,
not out there in
it's
terms
not out
of
there.
weird.
It's been like that for years, I think.
Let's think. Give me a bit more time to think. Maybe E.T. and The Hangover.
What the fuck? Well, they misplaced the
like
alien.
Weekend at Bernie's, and they have to go around with a dead alien. No, I don't know. It's
I don't know. Like I don't know. The Goonies with Halloween.
Michael Myers chasing him down the road.
I don't know. There could be so many fun answers, and but yeah, I don't know. Comment down below what films you would mix 2 and 2 together. I mean, what about a fantasy one like Lord of the Rings with The Matrix?
It just doesn't make sense.
It's not meant to.
Maybe it'd have to be something sci-fi, wouldn't it? Like,
well, The Simpsons have done a lot, like The Simpsons with The Shining.
Yeah.
Where Homer goes crazy. You've seen, and Simpsons and Family Guy did a crossover.
Oh yeah.
That was an interesting one.
Yeah, I do like the idea of crossovers, but they very rarely ever kind of work. Maybe something like Breaking Bad and Dexter, where they're a little bit more similar in tone, would be pretty cool as like a TV show, or like I like some kind of detective thing, or like Hannibal as a character in some other dark universe, like
Hannibal and Batman.
Yeah. Batman and Superman. Batman versus Superman. That would be
a great one. I would go to watch that. I bet you any money it would be a good film as well.
Call it like Dawn of Justice or something really, really on the nose, like that AI generated name.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Before we move on to our segment of My Film's Better Than Your Film.
Yeah.
England are in the Euros final, Tom. We went to see them
last night
at our local.
Yeah. And this is where everyone's like, oh God, not sport. I'm here for films. But it was a great experience, man.
It was an atmosphere and a half. England was facing the Netherlands.
Yeah. And being back by the time this podcast comes out, It'll be the day of the
final where we're against Spain.
Yeah, I actually have Spain in the sweepstakes as well. So
you're gonna win.
It's a win-win scenario for me.
Yeah, man. If Spain win, you get like over 100 quid, don't you?
Yeah.
You lucky bastard. You know who I got in the sweepstake?
I'll throw you a quid.
You know who I got in the sweepstake? Poland.
They're okay. Okay.
Yeah, but. So we watched it at our local pub, and it was a great atmosphere. A lot happened. It was 2-1. They got a disallowed goal, hit the post a couple of times.
They had a massive projector, which was cool, and then 2 TVs either side. But when the second goal happened, someone
disallowed goal,
shattered the
TV on the right
by accident,
threw or something like that.
Yeah,
it was crazy. But I'm going down to London to watch the final.
That's nuts, man.
At one of those box places. I don't know.
Yeah, not the actual final because it's in Germany.
We did try and look to see.
Yeah, I know you did. Yeah,
we were looking at traveling down. It was going to be like a 15 to 20 hour car journey.
Just to be in Germany.
Yeah.
In
Berlin. Yeah, and we were looking at flights. Flights to Berlin were 1,200 quid. Yeah.
Well, it's just because of the Euros.
But we were looking to fly to
Berlin is a great city.
We were looking to fly to Prague, which was like 200 quid, and then get a train over. But even then, it's still too expensive. So we've chosen to go down to London instead, which will still be a great atmosphere. Actually, it won't be a great atmosphere because we're going to probably lose.
You never know. Keep the faith.
I thought we were going to lose last game.
Keep the faith. Games, so. And if we don't, at least I still get 100 quid.
Can you give me some of that?
That takes us, Sean, onto our segment, our fan favourite segment, I think. Maybe fans hate it, but I think we've had a good few responses to it. And that segment, Sean, is my film's better than your film. So in the spirit of the Euros, we're going to do films with a sporting theme or sports-based films.
Yes, I will grab the whiteboards now.
And I have not seen many sports-based films. Actually, I don't know. I've seen quite a few, actually. There's all. I mean, I like sports films actually because I think I know which one you're going to choose, but I won't choose it. I like sports films because they're kind of inspirational, aren't they? They're like often they're inspirational in terms of.
So what type of sports are we including here? So we're including football, we're including basketball, we're including baseball, rugby. Are we including like boxing?
Boxing. So Sean's going to pick Rocky then. We can include Real Steel, the robot boxing film starring Hugh Jackman from a few years ago. Yeah. I think anything that has sport. I mean, sport is competitive, right?
Yeah. I need to
not mental sport. Something that requires physical stress on the body. Right? So Porn Sacrifice, the chess film starring Tobey Maguire, would not count.
Okay, I've got mine. I was thinking about changing it just then, but I'm going to go for this one.
I don't know if you've seen this film, by the way. I probably haven't seen the one you're picking either.
Okay. Are we ready?
Yeah.
Reveal in 3, 2, 1.
Mine's Cool Runnings.
Nice. Mine is Moneyball.
Have you seen it?
We watched. Oh yeah, no.
We didn't watch it on the channel.
We didn't.
I haven't seen.
You haven't seen Moneyball?
But it's Brad Pitt and Jonah Hill, isn't it?
Yeah.
That was their first kind of pairing.
It is.
Well, I don't think they've been paired again, but it was one of Jonah Hill's first serious roles, wasn't it?
Yeah, one of them. Yeah.
Yeah. But this is obviously the Jamaican bobsleigh film, based on a true story starring John Candy, and I only remembered it at the last minute.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to choose it because, again, we had this problem before. I don't think we did have this problem before, but it's a comedy, isn't it? And some people perceive comedies in different ways, but my film is definitely better than your film.
I think you might be right there. I don't know. I think yours is a more entertaining movie that the masses would like more. Mine is a more serious tone type of movie.
So tell me why Moneyball is better than Cool Runnings, Sean.
Well, where do I start with Moneyball? I always return to Moneyball. Surprisingly, I've watched it a few times. So it's actually a rewatchable film
because it was quite a lot of awards buzz around it, weren't there, when it first came out?
Yeah, and like you said, Jonah Hill's first serious role.
Yeah.
So it's actually interesting to see him in that role.
Is it about people managing baseball teams?
So it's about. It's about it's definitely about the management of a baseball team, but it's the tug of war between the old way of thinking and the new way of thinking. They actually bring in Jonah Hill, who's almost like a mathematician who looks at stats of everyone, every single player, and match them up with the style of play or with the other players. And he basically builds a championship winning team based on these stats when at face value are really shit and should not work, but do. Now, whether they do or not, that's the anticipation that you get from the film. And it's interesting because you hardly see any of the games in the movie, and you actually see Brad Pitt, who's the owner of the club. And it's an underdog story, Tom. Just simply like Cool Runnings. Yeah. It's an underdog story, but it's interesting because you watch more of Brad Pitt's reaction, and Brad Pitt doesn't watch the games, so you don't watch the games with him, but you're with him in the changing rooms where he's pacing about, he's in the gym, he's trying to distract himself, and his anticipation to realize the results, and that bleeds into the audience's anticipation and reaction. So it's a very it shows you a sports themed movie, but it flips it, and the style is more character based rather than in the moment sport based. Do you know what I mean?
I know what you mean, but it's no Cool Runnings, man. Cool Runnings is a true real underdog story, right? It's based on a real story, not only about the Jamaican bobsleigh team, but the dishonored coach that actually helps train them for the Winter Olympic Games. And everybody thought that they would be a laughing stock. They're the true others, aren't they? Completely out of place in a different country and climate, and people laugh at them. They think they're rubbish. Half of them are kind of sprinters, or they trialed for the sprints in the Olympics and they failed to get in. So it's a story of failure. And that's why I think this is such a good sporting film, because they actually lose. Yeah. They actually crash, don't they? Spoiler alert, if you haven't seen it, came out in 1993 at the end of the film. And that kind of message of perseverance, of carrying on, of literally carrying each other and the bobsleigh over the finish line. That's what the true message of sport should be and is, right?
Yeah.
That's why I think it's so great and powerful. But they also make it a comedy because it is out of character and out of place.
Yeah.
And I actually think this was the first film I saw that had John Candy in it. And obviously he's known for his comical roles. But he's not really a comedic character in this. No, not really, because he's disgraced, isn't he? So he's more got that dramatic weight as well. And I think I wish he lived to an older age, because I reckon he would have done some great performances in different films after that as well.
I will admit, Cool Runnings does have a nice balance between dramatic and comedic elements. I think it balances it well. It's not an outright comedy, but it's also not an outright drama. And I think it knows when to stay silent and calm down and let those sort of moments.
And you have 4 characters that are equally balanced in the story in terms of their backstory and what they're dealing with as well. They all do it for different reasons. But it's that message of real sportsmanship that I think perseveres in it. Yeah, which is good.
No, it's interesting because I don't know which film I prefer, because the tone of both of them is just so wildly different. Like you said, there was a lot of award buzz around Moneyball.
Whereas there wouldn't have been for Cool Runnings.
No, exactly. But I mean, all I can say about Moneyball is that the acting and the script, by the way, and the person that wrote it is Stephen Zalian, who also did. The Irishman, the girl with the dragon tattoo, but also Aaron Sorkin, who did one of my favourite films of all time, The Social Network, A Few Good Men, the West Wing TV show.
My problem is that's all well and good, Sean, but you tell your average film goer, you seen Moneyball? You'll be like, what?
Hang on a minute.
You've seen Cool Runnings.
This isn't a popularity
I'm
contest.
only saying that because you brought that up as an argument in our first ever My Film's Better Than Yours.
True. But I think my film is better than yours because it has an award-winning screenwriter who shines through in this. It's a director, Bennett Miller, who did Foxcatcher.
Can I just ask, if you were to say there was one moral message or one kind of central lesson from Moneyball as a sporting film, what would the message be? What is the film about?
Right, now, spoilers. They try their best to use like computer generated analysis to build this team.
Yeah.
To a winning team, and now this team that they do it with were losers. They were the underdogs, and they had the highest winning streak in the league for many years because of this strategy. But they don't win in the end, Tom. So the moral of the story is that, yes, computer-generated analysis can get you so far. However, the sportsmanship, the people, the mood, and the fans, the energy, and the anticipation of the moment.
Okay,
they don't account for that.
Okay.
They can't generate.
So the message of Moneyball is that it's okay to try and cheat, but in Cool Runnings,
it's not cheating.
Using
it's a strategy. It's just a strategy.
Yeah,
it's not
bad sportsmanship.
It's just that there is an element of sport.
Yeah,
that isn't. Robotic.
Yeah, well,
it's about the heart of people.
This one's equally about unity as well. When you have all the people watching and starting to cheer them on at the end, and they've won people over, it just goes to show you it doesn't matter where you're from or what background or culture, whatever it might be. Everybody has the equal opportunity to pursue their dreams. Man.
Yeah, that's good. And I just want to mention my last point. It's not a very strong point, but Moneyball has. An amazing score, and I've actually got the
Moneyball score on.
It's a group called This Will Destroy You, and one of the
Sinister.
One of the tracks is called Mighty Grand Trio or something like that. And that score is so iconic. If I played it to you, you'll know exactly what it is. And it's in Moneyball, and I love it. And it's. Yeah, that just solidifies or just represents the whole tone of the movie, and it gives me goosebumps. This
is a very quotable film as well, by the way.
I don't watch baseball. No. This movie got me into baseball. Did that get you into bobsleigh?
It did actually.
No, it did not.
It did.
No, it did not.
I'll go down to the.
We were talking about sports movies, and I picked a movie that got me into a sport.
I don't have a bobsleigh track near. We don't have a bobsleigh track near.
Neither did they, Tom. they went down on fields and fucking wooden carts.
Oh man, there's so many sporting films to choose from. I was gonna pick the Ron Howard Formula One film called Rush. I don't know if you've seen it.
Oh yeah, I haven't seen it.
Good, really insanely good.
I did watch that Ford versus Ferrari.
Ford v Ferrari. That was alright. I quite like that. That was James Mangold, wasn't it?
I was gonna pick
Rocky.
Either Rocky, Creed, or Karate Kid.
Well, I was going to pick Dodgeball, but it was too comedy heavy, man.
Yeah, that's an underdog story.
A true underdog
Average
story.
Joes.
If you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball. I thought I'll choose this because it's a tiny bit more drama in it. But let us know what you think, guys. I think my film is clearly better than Sean's film on this occasion.
I think they're better. They're both better in different ways.
Yeah.
We'll agree to disagree.
Nah. Let's know what if you want another kind of genre, guys. I think we've done animation, we've done horror, we've now done sports films.
Do you want a thriller? Maybe sci-fi? Maybe. I mean, this was kind of an underdog category as well.
We did coming of age stories.
Coming of age, yeah. Is there any other themes or genres that you want us to tackle? Or if there are any other topics that you want us to talk about, any films, comment down below.
Send us some questions. Or if you've just got some film recommendations.
Yeah. Yeah, and thank you for listening to the episode 4 of the Cinema Rules podcast, and we'll see you in episode 5
next time.
Cheers.